welcome back to the Fantasy Workshop. We're here in the workshop. I'm Stacey Davidson, and when we last left off, I was finishing up a wall. It was going to be like the left wall in this this setup, and this, I hope, final setup for the interior of the ship. And I was just finishing up with that. In fact, I'll show you right here what that looks like at this moment. Looks like this. And so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to do the background wall, the wall that goes behind that, and hopefully that will be the very last piece of the puzzle for this. And who knows, maybe we can even get it shot tonight. That would be really nice. I've even got the lineup image from the previous image that I have to kind of marry this together with. I've got it all set up, so let's get into it. Let's check it out. Okay, right now, so this is the stage where I'm going to be working tonight. I'm going to be prepping this back wall, and so this is kind of how I left it before, and it was sort of in pieces. It's seen better days. Let me get this out of the way, and well, let me get it out of the way more. No, you go away. This isn't your day. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to actually replace this beam so that I've got a beam on both sides, and kind of get it back to looking, you know, sort of normal again, back to the way it was, because it's gotten a little bit torn up. In fact, I probably used this beam for some other set. It's probably why it got ripped off in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up with the old spot where it was before. Make sure that I'm flat here. Could be a little more flat. There we go. Pretty good. And I'm going to make sure that we're flat this way. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now we have our beam back on, and I'm gonna just carefully, because there's paper in the background here, and I don't want to cut the paper off or make big slices in it, but I'm just gonna kind of remove some of this glue here. Although I'm just kind of removing a paint with it, so it doesn't really make much difference. I'm probably gonna have to touch it up either way, but I'd almost rather touch up some paint than have this like shiny glue sticking out. Okay, and I don't mean I'm gonna touch up the paint now, and I'm not worrying about that. I'm gonna touch up the paint in Photoshop later, because I never really know what exactly is going to be visible, and there's no point in spending time until I need to, and I can do it so much faster in Photoshop anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. This is just like an L level here, and I'm just going to kind of bring this down to the level of the floor. So what this is this was the back wall on the original set, and this was the sort of where the roof was, and that the kind of upper level, the upper deck. There's like a catwalk up there, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a piece up here that will be that catwalk, and that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Doesn't have to be exact, but it needs to be pretty good. So, and it is. It's pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach this just kind of temporarily here, and let me get my leveler to make sure that everything is good here. It's up a little bit. Bring it up on the left side a bit. That's pretty good. And then how's this looking? Yeah, I'm gonna come over a little bit here. That's pretty good. again. Up a little more. That's pretty good. Okay. Like that. I'm liking that. So let's go ahead and stick this down. So what this is going to do, it's going to be kind of a hinge. It's not really going to be a perfect bond. It's not exactly going to stay, but it will adhere. And see, the thing is, this hot glue will come right off this ruler, so I'm not even worried about that. I'm just going to put a little dab of it there to get it sort of in place. And that should be a decent enough contact, those two contact points, to kind of get it nice and stuck down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cool it down really fast with some air. Something weird with my air gun tip. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Usually I can just stick this in here and this shoots out nice and fast, but it's not really shooting out very fast right now. It's not shooting out as hard as it used to. I think this might be clogged. You know what? I can try just running a little wire through it and see if that's all it is. I've actually kind of made a very tiny little hole here so that it constrains the air a bit more because the hole was a little too big. This is made for a different gauge of yeah, it is a little clogged with something. This is made for a different gauge of air here, and I'm using it with like a little airbrush. Compressor, which isn't. This is really made for a much larger gauge. But yeah, there's something that's kind of clogging it there. Not gonna worry about it. I do like to use this so I don't have to worry about, using this and I don't know, banging it up too bad. Just using it to spray air everywhere. It doesn't really have to be. Don't have to be using my airbrush for that. Anyway, so this is set up. This is good. That's a nice solid basis for my kind of stand-in for my walkway up there. And that makes this, that would kind of meet up there, and that's about right because the walkway is a little bit higher than this because there's some thickness to this floor. So this is about right. And so that would go here, this would go back here a bit, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. These rooms, I don't really have any reference anymore for how deep these rooms went, but I would say they're about... Actually, let me think. Do I... No. Not handy. I don't really have anything that tells me exactly how wide. Wait a minute. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Here we go. So this is the original piece right here. It hung like this, and so it actually connected it right there. So that's perfect. That puts this right here, a bit further back than I was thinking, so I'm glad that I found this. Okay, so that's where this goes. Let's just lean that right there real quick. And what I'm going to do is, usually I like to paper my table before I do these things, but I'm kind of doing some quick pickup shots here, and so I'm moving a little faster than usual. Okay, so there's that. Now, let me think. How do I want to do this? Because this doesn't really line up exactly to the edge of the table. So what I really need first is I need a reference for. Let's see, I can't use that. Oh, I know, I have another one. And there's another. Okay. I got some of these guys here. There we go. Okay. So I'll just eyeball this, put this here. You know what? That's almost, not quite, that's almost exactly the same distance. Okay, so mark that. Mark that. I'll mark it one more time. Let me get some of the scrap out of right here. Mark it one more time on this side, and that'll give me a constant distance. There we go. There's a constant distance. And now I'll mark that all the way down. This here, scrap pieces. Just match these two up. Give myself a line. Match these two up. Give myself a line. Okay, that's good. Let's see. So where's the mark that I made a minute ago? This is it right here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I need a distance a bit further. Yeah, that's no problem. So let's just say that's actually slightly further, but that's good. That's good. So let's do that, and I'll just do the same here that I did before. I'll mark every few. There we go. A few inches there, and then I can do the same thing that I just did with the other line. So I'll match this up with this, and that'll give me a line all the way across. And then I'll match these up with this one. Okay, that's it. So that gives me where the wall needs to be. Which is right about here. Perfect. So I got it in exactly the right place. And what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and well, actually, okay, so I need a backing on this because, yeah, I need something to kind of keep it up. And I actually have an old wall panel here. This is an older panel, older version of the wall. Well, it was a different section of the wall that got cut off because I forget why, but I just needed one part of it, so I cut that part off. But anyway, so this can go here, and this will be my backing for the wall. There we go. Sure, that's kind of solid there. There we go. So now we really just have to sit the wall right here. It doesn't really have to. Now, if I glued it down, I could probably straighten it out a bit though. So I think I'll do that, because what you can do is this hot glue, can later be scraped off with a scraper. No big deal. One of the nice things about using this masonite material too is that it's not going to not to worry about it, getting burnt or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna just sit the hot glue gun right down on it. No big deal. Okay. I'll do this a bit here. Now I need that to dry. But yeah, when I'm done with all this, I'll just take a scraper and it'll just totally, scrape that hot glue right off. It'll be like it was never there. Comes off very easily off this masonite. Okay. Yeah, it's still gooey. It's not really hardening enough back there. Ew. Put a little bit bigger gob of it there, because this panel here is pretty flat. So I really just need this panel here just needs to be stuck down nice and flat, and then I can kind of bend the other part around a bit and straighten out the wall. This stuff is super hot because it's been heating up for a while. Always takes a lot longer to cool it down when it's super heated like this. Well, okay, so this side, this is pretty good, but the corner, not so much. Okay. So if we can get this corner rock solid. Times like this, I almost wish I were just working with L brackets and screws and just screw it down and be done with it. Hot glue, working with hot glue is usually pretty fast. I mean, relatively, it's very fast, especially relative to other glues. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty good. So now I just need to kind of get this side straightened out a bit. There we go. It's good. Okay, so see how it's wanting to kind of bend outward, which is why I have it, why I'm gluing it down like this, so it doesn't do that, so it straightens out. And if I can harden it while it's bent in like this, it'll stop trying to bend outward. Okay, there we go. That's good. Okay, that's much straighter. Okay. And yeah, it's remarkably straight when I'm kind of eyeballing it along this edge. Okay. So that's the back wall. And now I need to look at this wall right here. So this wall would go up right here up against it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line everything up. Probably what I'll do is I'll line everything up and then I'll go ahead and remove this part. That's probably the best course of action there. Okay, so let's see. What do I want to do first here? Do I have any lights? Yeah, I've got a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I've got lights. Okay, so we've got lights. The white balance is going to be really weird because the stage lights are actually an indoor balance. Because I just prefer working with warm lights to photograph. Don't ask me why. I just always have used warm lights. Although honestly, there's really I can't think of any good reason to do it that way. It's just what I've always done. But I feel like psychologically, I get a different look to my eyeball. A warmer look that feels a little bit not more natural as far as like feels more like what the end result will be. So that's really the main thing. I feel like it'll be to my naked eye a little closer to the warm feel that we'll have in the game when I'm done with everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and start looking at it on screen now. Here's a screen. In fact, I'll go ahead and swap here. And let's turn off the camera. Oh, the camera shut off. That's right. I remember that. I remember hearing it. Let's see, is it on? Yeah, it's on. No video source. It's back in. Okay, here we go. Detecting cameras. Alright. Okay. So, what we've got here is there's a ghost image. And that ghost image is right here, and that's what I need to match it to. So that's the upper deck. And this is going to be the lower deck, and I need to be able to see that lower deck. So I need to match the angle of that deck, that upper deck, and it looks like I'm probably a little too high. So I'm going to come down a bit. There we go. That's a lot better. I think that's it. I think we got it. That's about right. Yeah, I think we got it. So, yeah, we're good there. Although, you know what, though? That's not where the door needs to be. The door needs to actually be a little further over, because we're not going to use that entire stretch. We're actually going to start the wall right here, I think, right about. So that means it needs to come off quite a bit. Let's see. Whoop! We dropped it. Okay. Yeah. So the angle's right, but we need it to be. Let's go ahead and mark off where that wall would be. And actually, we do it this way. So that's where the door would be, right there, right? Okay, what we do is peel this off, and that will give us a nice, visible, hard line on camera. That's what we need. Okay. And there it is. That's the hard line that I just created by peeling that piece off. So, yeah, looks like we do need to come back again. Just need that angle to be just right. Okay, that's pretty good. So, let's look at the opacity. Let's see, there's this angle right here. In fact, you know what we can do? We can go one further. We can draw a shape here and say, okay, there's this, and then we're gonna kind of go like that. Actually, okay. So there's our shape that we're looking for. Let's go back here and change the opacity and see. Oh, you know what though? That's pretty. Let's try a different color. There we go. There we go. Okay. So adjust that opacity again. Oh, that's interesting. Some of this isn't quite. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, I see. That's a different. That white line is coming from the guidelines. Okay, so opacity. So that's the angle of the doorway right there. Let's move this. That's the angle of the doorway. That line, and so when we turn that up, I think we've got a problem with that angle. It needs to come over a little bit more this way. Yeah. Oh, that's getting really close now. Really close. There we go. I think we got it. Although we're off kilter a bit here, so let's lean a bit. This, no, this in. There we go. There we go. So close. So close. Okay, now the line is pretty good, but just eyeballing it, it looks like we still might be a little off kilter. So let me, yeah, just a little bit though. Right there. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. So now lock that down. Lock that down. Gonna lock. Let's see. That down. Can't really move the camera too much now. It's pretty locked down. Okay. I'm gonna put a sandbag on it and make any adjustments I need. Sandbag will keep it fairly still. This song is reminding me, I think there was a Perfect Circle album that came out that I forgot to listen to. What was I thinking? Let me go find that. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. And we have the lines that we made. So no big deal. It'll be super easy I still have, reference. And look at that, there's no hot glue on this at all. So I'm not, not messing up my tools or anything. Hot glue comes right off metal, no problem. Now I just need to kind of get this off of here. There we go. That's good. Now this is just a panel of black poster board. And I can replace this poster board again very easily. It's literally just slid in place and held down with clips. So no big deal there. Let's go ahead and adjust cinematography a little bit, because it's so blown out it's actually hard to see where we're going. Let's see. I'm going to go live. do 11. It's pretty good. So we can kind of get a better idea now of what we're looking at. Oh yeah, let's not use any ISO though. So ISO is like gain. We don't like that. We don't want to use gain. I try to not use any gain, although I'd rather use a little gain if it will cut out some other problems sometimes. Okay, so there's the back wall right where we need it. Done. Now, let's take a look where their sidewall goes. The sidewall should go right here. It should meet up right there. Although it's gonna be clashing a bit right here. So I think I'm actually going to remove some of this. And let me see what I want to remove. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna remove a bit of material from this. Using one of these giant loofah blades. These are really cool. People call them snap blades. Loofah is just the company that I think invented them. But you can snap them off and all that. That's really cool. But I don't use them that way necessarily. It's not really for me. It's not about snapping the blade off. It's more about just having some extra blades so I can get a really long knife that is almost as sharp as a Sharpie. So, it's just a great long knife. Okay. There we go. Good to go here. Now, let's take a look at what we've got. Let's see how this fits in here now. So we remove some of that. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Right there. It's looking good. It's looking good. I think I'll go ahead and let me think. What do I want to do? I think I'll put a little backing on here. Put a little backing on here. So what I'm gonna do is a little trick I like to use. I'm doing backing. Just cut out a nice long triangle of foam core. And I'm just gonna glue this to the back. And it's not even glued down to the table, actually. Although I probably will, because I need this to really not move. Like, I need this to be very, very steady, because I'm going to be moving components around. So this is really just the first thing. I'm going to put a backing board on it, and then I'm going to make sure that it doesn't move. So that looks pretty good, but let's square this up. I'm going to have to eyeball it, though, because there's so much junk on the wall. I'm just going to have to use use it as a guideline. I think that's pretty good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the back down now. Put some hot glue down in the back. Getting that hot glue gun through these cracks and kind of running it into these little spots where you need it. Gotta reload. Reloading the gun here. Okay. That's pretty good. I think it's... Well, let me put one more spot down. Other side here. There we go. Okay, it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and cool that down. So I'm freezing it in place right now. So this thing won't budge. think I'm good to go now. This thing's not going to go anywhere. Alright. The part of the wall is leaning down just a bit. I'm trying to decide if that's a problem. I really don't think it is. But you know what? I'm going to use some wire. So what I'm going to do, sometimes what I like to do in cases like this is I'll just pull out a little wire. Just a bit of wire here. This is steel wire. This is cheap steel wire. Always remember, if you are cutting something like steel wire, you want to use like really good cutters. Like, you want the right tool for the job when it comes to stuff like this, because if you use cutters that are too small and aren't really made for this kind of gauge of wire, then you're just going to mess up your tools. You're going to get all dull, and I even broke a pair of cutters once just trying to, cut something real quick with the wrong, with a gauge that it didn't like, and it was a bad idea. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm feeding it through. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera so you can see this. It's pretty cool. I'm going to switch so that you can see on the camera. So what I'm doing here, so this is if something is this is just a little off kilter. It needs to be, it's here, and it needs to be like here, and now it's straight. So I'm going to grab this wire here, and I'm just going to put a little through here, and I'm going to pull it until it's straight. In fact, I'm going to pull it a little back, a little further than straight. And there it is. Good to go. You don't really have to do much with this wire. It's, once you bend it, it really stays right where you put it, so it's good steel wire. Now, I use a pretty thick piece of foam core. I probably could have gone a little thicker, but it's fine. But if you don't, foam core will tear. It's pretty delicate. So, doing something like this, you have to grab a pretty big chunk of it. Okay, so I think that's about right. That's good. We're good to go. I'm trying not to bump this camera. And here, in the top right corner, you can see right here what we're going to be seeing on camera. And actually, not entirely, because I need to readjust this because I'm not quite seeing the full image. Here we go. That's not really. And don't really care about this stuff up here because honestly, we're gonna be seeing like way down here. This is the part we're gonna see. We're not even gonna see any of this stuff. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and then that, right? So that's what we want to see. I'll go ahead and there we go. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to switch here and take a look at how it looks. It's pretty good. Now let's go back to our this view and let's see. I have to be really careful because I do not want to accidentally grab the scale, because the scale, I have to remember the scale is at 34, but if I accidentally move the scale, this thing will be all out of whack. Okay, so that's perfect, and there it is. So this is what we're going to see. We're going to see this part right here. And you know what I'm noticing is, I was hoping that we wouldn't see too much floor, and actually we probably won't, because it's going to get cut off probably long before that. I think we're good, actually, because, the screen is going to be like here, and it'll probably end about here. So that's probably as low as it's going to go is, well, what am I doing? Okay, so you can't see what I'm doing on the screen. So the bottom of the screen is probably going to be about right here. It's probably about as low as the screen is going to see. And you're not going to see any lower than that. So I think we're good, because I don't have any of the floor. I mean, I could dig out some flooring, but I don't really want to get into that. I think we're fine. I don't think we need it, because this is good. This is, I don't think the camera's going to go far enough down to see any of that. And so we have pretty much everything we need there. In fact, let me take a look at how this cage, there's supposed to be a cage right here. If you look down on the bottom right, you can see my hands on camera. But yeah, there's a cage right here. I don't know how much we're going to see that, actually. I guess a little bit. I guess it will. Yeah, that is going to be on screen. Okay, so we're going to have to do the cage. I was hoping maybe we could just skip it. But no, that's fine. But you know what? I mean, other than that, I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go, guys. I think this is it. So let me check. Boy, that's hard to really. You know what? I've got a little tiny L. Oh, here it is. I've been looking for it all day, and I couldn't find it. Now that I actually need it, here it is. So that's awesome. Okay, so yeah, that's about right. Okay, that's about right. Yeah, I was just eyeballing it, but it was fine. So there's that. There's that. Let's go ahead and mark this, though. Okay, there's the two marks I just made, so I'll make a line. And then we'll go ahead and let's do this. Right here. Yep, that's pretty good. How far does this come out, though? Oh, I didn't go quite far enough. It's okay. Okay, so got just right, and then now these need to go. There it is. That's it. So make this line by hand. Close enough. Okay. So that's it. That's where the cage pieces need to go. What about? Oh yeah. Okay. You know what? I don't think that. Yeah. I never did that side anyway. Not really sure what I should do there. I shouldn't worry about it. I might just put a piece there. Yeah. Okay, so let's put this here for now. Goes right between these two pieces and right there. That's it. Okay, so there's all of that. Now, we don't need the transparency anymore, because this is perfect. I can see everything here. You can see all this. This is perfect. And see this door here. That is. Oh, you can see. Oh, here we go. As long as I'm over here, you can see what I'm doing. I don't know why I was. Yeah, I just had my mouse in a dumb place. Okay, so this door here, you can see, is the same as this door here, and they are looking the same scale. So that's also a really good sign that this is all correct. Now the angle looks a little different, a little weird, but honestly, and part of that is that. Well, let me think. Let me think carefully before I. So no, there is one I do see a problem here. Well, oddly enough, this angle was fine, but this angle of this beam. Oops, I'm moving this. That's not good. This angle of this beam was not is not quite right. So let me readjust this. That's fine. Okay. That beam needs to be kind of more straight up and down, and I know why it's doing that. It's doing that because I have the lens kind of on a it's zoomed all the way out, and it creates kind of a fisheye look, which is actually what I need for this scene. But it's it's going to interfere with this, so I might have to rethink this a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to move this. It's a shame because I did all that work to line it up, but that beam needs to be straight. And it's going to be curved as long as I have this at such an extreme, zoomed out so much. So, let me look at, okay, that is much straighter, but now I need the scale to be right with that door down there. And this needs to be tilted a bit this way. Okay. You know what? I do have kind of a plan B though, because what I can do is there's this door, and I know that this piece here should come out to here. Actually, right where that is. Put an arrow. That's it. And so, really, I just need to make sure that the door is up here, and it would be right about here. There it is. That's where the door should be. Right there. That's it. Now, let me think though. I had this. Let me think. I may have my height off though. Did I cut that wall in half? I think I have to have my height off because these came all the way up to the top. Let me think now. Let's see. No, that was down there. I think that was all the way across. Did I cut this wall in half? I can't remember. This is how long it's been. Let me think. So, I really don't think so. Oh, you know what? No, I'm thinking of the other side. What do you think? Oh, it's confusing. Let's see. This guy here. Go to the door. And then, oh, yeah. Okay, well, here's another thing, though. This wall, the scale of this floor changes because, okay, so here's the scale model of this, of what we're looking at. And it's actually much tighter on this far back wall. So, trying to remember how it was that I saw this stuff. If I had this wall, means that the floor was going up and up, but it might have been up a little bit higher. I'm not really sure. That would put it about here. I think that's about right. Yeah, I think I'm just going to kind of eyeball this a bit because this is so complex with the scale. The scale of this, the back of this ship is so much, the ceiling is so much lower, basically, on this side of the ship than it is on the other side. So, very tricky. And I'm not exactly sure, I'm not really remembering exactly how I got this under here, but I'm thinking, I know the floor was actually at a slant when I shot this, so I'm thinking that this wall was twice as high. I lost a lot of it in the slant, but it still probably came up to about here, I'm thinking. So I need to be, that means that the base of the door would actually be about here. So right about here. But I'm gonna fudge it a little bit because I don't want to try to extend that wall too much in Photoshop later. So let's just, that's about right there. Well, my angles are almost right, but not quite. Let me tilt this just a bit, and then look at the angle of that I-beam. That's pretty good. Yep. Everything matches up pretty good. And this door should be right about where that I-beam is. Yeah. Right at the edge of that I-beam, which it is. Okay. Let's look at the opacity. Yeah, that's about right. I think that's perfect. Okay, so that means what we really need is this part. All this stuff. No problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to extend this in Photoshop to kind of make it go further back. Or maybe I'll just take another picture. Yeah. Anyway, for now though, let's look at this. So this is oh, this is tricky, but I think that's about right. I think that's about it. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this. What I'll do is I'll shoot all this, but I'm not gonna tear it down. I'm gonna do what I often do is I'll do shots, and then I'll go ahead and take it into Photoshop, check it out, see how it fits in, and if I still have problems with it, I can make adjustments and shoot it again. So that's pretty good. Let's get the lights off. Okay. Let's check one more time with our opacity here. That looks pretty good, but I really don't like how it slants down. I really feel like we need to fix that slant here though. So tricky. This is so tricky, but I think that is a little bit better match. Let's look at this. Look here. Again, it's it's curving off into the distance on the right side of the screen. That's fine. It's kind of an effect. I'm really more interested in what's going on the left side of the screen for now. That door is a little bit too big though, so. Having that problem again though. Now of the warping, but you know, up top it's pretty good. It's not too bad. Well, there it is, a little bit, I guess. We're gonna How about that? Oh yeah, the beam is much better now. Yeah, and the door is actually a lot better too. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. That works really well. That works really well. Okay. So down there. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's treat that. It's good. Take that down. Come back to cinematography. Check this out. Let's see. Let's look at the white balance. Oops. Let's see. Let's go lower. It's probably just going to be tungsten. Let's just do tungsten. That's perfect. Okay. It's usually just tungsten anyway. That usually balances just fine. Because these are basically tungsten balance. They're not really tungsten lights. Tungsten would be like old school, you know, incandescent bulbs, but these are balanced. They're LED lights that are balanced for that. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now let's look at the focus. Let's see. Wow, that's actually really pretty well focused. Let's check out right here. It's pretty good. Now it's going to be more in okay, this stuff here is going to be more in focus than it looks right now because it's going to be shooting at a different exposure. Okay, so that's all good. Let's darken it a bit. Expose just like that much. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and swap sides here. So I'm gonna put the camera right here, and I'm gonna shoot it from this side so that I can manipulate the light. So this is a nice sort of bouncy, not too much shadow, soft sort of look here. Although I'm getting this weird, ugly shadow here, and that's from this stuff. I don't really like that, so let's take this down and put this here. This is actually going to mimic the original lighting a little bit closer, because originally I had these lights hanging down, and they were kind of placed as if they were practical lights in the scene itself, like actually really there, like hanging in the ceiling. So we'll go ahead and hang this here. Let's move that over there. Get this out of the way. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's just do that. And actually, there were different lights all the way down, so I'll go ahead and put one here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken. I'm not going to expose it too much, so we just barely kind of see. There we go. That's pretty good. And now that I can see from this angle, let's straighten this up a bit. That's pretty good. Now, what I don't have is my remote. It's okay, just got it right here. Unpack my remote here. Plug this in. Okay. Now, that looks pretty good. Let's take it. So there's that. There's that shot. Go back to live. So looking at here. See it all day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to expose it a little bit more. Just so I can get a slightly brighter version. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't think I need a bunch of different angles of light or anything. I think it's pretty good. Actually, well, let's see. Yeah, no, that's. You know what? It would be nice to hang this down a little lower. So let's do that. What we're gonna do is we'll put this here. This isn't really that hot because LED lights don't get very hot, which is pretty cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this whole piece down a bit. Actually, even more than that. Let's move it way down. Let's move it down. And then tuck that in. Oops. And that's good. Now, let's hang this again. Oh, we need to go live. Go live. Okay, there we go. Now I can kind of see how much higher I need it. Actually, how should I do it? Let's just ease it back. I'm gonna open this wire. Here we go. That's good. Okay. Yeah, that's better. A little higher though. Inside the clips. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Let's get this out of the way. Right there, okay. Now, nope, that's not in front of anything, so that's good. Now, I think we're going to move it down just a bit though. There we go. That's a little bit more like the lights that were in the scene, because they really didn't light, they kind of lit low down to the floor. So okay, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and we'll take that, and then we'll go live. And then let's darken it down so that we're seeing much less light. And take one more. And that gives me something to work with. Okay, that's good. We're good there. Now, let's see what I need to move to get all my different elements. Let's brighten this up again. Okay, so one thing I'm seeing is that this is not overlapping with this, which means I can do this separately. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. I'm going to get my other angle of this. Now this needs to be right here, but it needs to be propped up. So, and I don't have any wire over here. So what can I do to kind of easily prop this up? Now, I don't really have anything over here, so I'm going to grab, I think wire is probably the best way to go for that. Or, actually, I remember how I did it. This is how I did it before. I used this to prop it up. I could do that again, so... just put that right there. Yep. Just lean it against it right there, just like that. Yep. That's pretty good. Let's take that. It's good. And I think that I want to go ahead and get the other side too. So right there, actually. Doesn't really go anywhere because I never used this side before, but it's okay. That'll give me something to work with in case I need a little extra piece there. Looks good. Okay, I'm just going to remove it all together. And I have one more piece that I need to move and get in picture here. What I need is this moved over to this side. There we go. Right over there. There it goes. Just like that. That's it. Take it. I'm going to go ahead and take that one with the darker exposure, just for the heck of it. There it is. So let's go back to scene view and then navigate around here. Okay, so these are the pictures that we took. We got this. Well, okay, we're not using those two. Then we lowered. See, that's when the light was too high. We lowered the light, and then we've got this bright one. I got this darker one, and then we started moving the cage around. So there's side 1, side 2, side 3. You can kind of see the side moving around. I'm rocking it back and forth. So that was the cage, side 1, side 2, side 3. Oh, there's brighter side 1. I didn't bother to do this one dark because the dark area really isn't for the lower part. It's for the upper part of the screen. And I can always darken it if I really need to. So after the cage, then we go back and forth. And if you look up at the top here, or I should say the upper left side of the screen, I'm going back and forth here. That's the wall. That's one side of the wall. That's the other side of the wall. So, or the pipes that run along the wall. So there's that. And that's that. I think I'm gonna do one more variation though. I'm gonna do one more variation. So this now we're live. I'm going to very carefully pull this down. Pull this off. Pull this off. Hopefully I don't have to redo this scene. It's okay though, if I do. But what I want to do is I want to get a little extra of this wall just kind of coming off the screen. So I've got extra pipe there going all the way. There we go. You know what? I'm just gonna put it where it goes and then take it. Nice. Let's take a look at it. There it is. Okay, there's the okay, so there's this side, and there's this side, and then there's this side, all the way. It's a little darker. I guess I don't really remember doing that, but I guess I adjusted this. I'm not sure why it's darker. Probably darker because there's like less light reflecting or something, actually. I'm going to go ahead and brighten up. Let's go live. And brighten up the scene a little bit. That way. Okay, yeah. I'm going to do one more like that. But I'm just going to wedge it up where it needs to be. And take it. There we go. And that's it. Once again, we got the brightest version. Brighter version, darker version, same thing. That's just to have a little bit extra pipe so I don't have to utilize the same piece. But anyway, that's the main thing I needed right there. Right there. A couple of extra pieces here and there from the other stuff. Now, the other thing though is that wall curves away in the image in kind of a fisheye lens sort of way, and I need to check that out. I need to see if I can maybe play with that. Okay, so what do we got here? Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I forgot what I was doing. That's fine. Okay, so let's take a look at this image one more time. We can see the background looks pretty good here, but then here it doesn't really match up with that because it's supposed to kind of go off into the distance. So let's
go ahead and put some green lines so we differentiate here. Dark green lines here. Okay, these are our I-beams that we have in place. Put that just there we go. And then, oops. One more here. Okay, there's our two I-beams, and there's our floor. Now, let's think about how this is going to curve off into the background. And let's reposition the camera so that it can. Okay. What we're going to do is actually, I think I'm going to move this so that this beam matches up with that one, and then I can kind of see how it's curving off. In fact, I'm going to go zoom all the way out, move this in so I can kind of get some fisheye action going, and see how that looks kind of curving off into the distance there. Okay. Now, do I want to be lower or higher or what? What's going on here? I think I actually want to be a little higher. Yeah. And I'll go ahead and distort it a bit in Photoshop too, but this is just to kind of get a good, kind of something to start with. Let's go ahead and take that. Let's bring down that opacity. And yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's take that. I'm not worried about brightness so much. I'll blend that in. I just kind of want the information. I want the image information. Okay, so there's that. And then at this point, well, let's go ahead and draw an outline of where we're at right now, which is we have one here. So now, let's go ahead and adjust this so that this one's here. And go back even further. And get this for the end here. Except I'm going to actually get more of the wall. There it is. Okay. Alright. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those pieces. Let's, actually, let's erase all. We don't need any of that anymore. So, let's come back here. Let's hide our overlay image. And then I'm just going to kind of show you what we shot. So, remote. That's live, and then that was the last image we shot. That is the one just before it, and that was actually just for that far left wall piece. But you can kind of see the way the wall looked there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that, extend that onto the end, and then extend that onto the end of that, and each one will be consecutively like sort of scrunched more into the into the distance and kind of crunched back to kind of shrink back into the distance. So I think that's it. I think that's really all we need. I really think that will do it. That's going to be my backdrop to kind of fit underneath that catwalk scene, that upper deck scene that I shot right here. And that's how it's going to go together. I think it'll be a great match. I think it'll work just fine. So that's it. What I'm going to do now, let's get the lights back on. Okay, so get some coffee. Sweet nectar of life right there. Okay. What we're going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and take that scene that I shot, and we just, here we go. So that's what we just shot. I'm going to go ahead and take that, and I'm going to put that into Photoshop, and I'm going to edit that into the scene and make sure that it works. So I'm pretty sure it will. I think it's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure. And if it does, if everything works out, then this was finally the last of the ship interior scenes. Okay, it's time to wrap all this up. I have taken the shots that I got here, the pickup shots, and I put them together into a little like test composite, and it's perfect. Everything's perfect. Everything works. It's beautiful. So as you can see, the table is now completely clear. It's empty, and the stage area, and it's ready for new models, which means that I am now ready to go to exterior stuff and finally begin picking up the rest of the swamp exterior stuff. Just a few additions, that I've found that I need after some kind of retooling of the areas over the last few months, and then my cave that I keep talking about doing, all that's going to be done here. That's all happening here next. This is going to be a whole new, completely different set. Nothing like the ship interior stuff. It'll be a whole different world. So going back to the swamp, going back to caves, going back to exterior natural environments, which I'm excited about because those are just a little bit more, natural to create. They're not quite as tedious. They don't take as long to throw together. So I'm really excited to get back to that. Anyway, I hope that you guys will join me in the next time when we do that. And until then, please, if you like the video, like it, subscribe, hit the bell when you want to hear the next one. And I will see you guys on the next flight.